ICT is a scam. I'm going to show you why his concepts do not work and how he is portrayed as one of the biggest frauds in the trading industry. So let's jump right in. First thing I want to show you is just a little clip from one of his live streams that speaks about how he got on with the Robbins Cup. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Robbins Cup is, it's a traders tournament which at the end of the year, whoever has gained the most percentage on their account basically wins. They win a few prizes, some money, but more so the credit of being one of the best traders in the world. What I'm going to show you here is a clip from his recent live stream because ICT entered into it this year, and this is how it's going.
Try to get them to come in the Robbins Cup because they think I can't trade, and they still won't even enter it. They still won't trade it, and they won't do it. He doesn't talk about Robbins Cup. I'm talking about Robbins Cup today, baby. I'm talking about that. I'm winning that shit. I am going to win that. I don't know why you guys are sitting here pretending like I forgot about it. I didn't forget about it. I know exactly what the fuck I'm doing. I told you you'll see me in the second half of the year, but you're going to see me in that #1 spot. Taste sweet. Enjoy your spot right now, gentlemen. Enjoy it. Hold on to those seats because I'm going to part the Red Sea and I'm running to the top of that motherfucker. Try to get them to come in the Robbins Cup because they think I can't trade, and they still won't even enter it. They still won't trade it, and they still...
That's what he said in May. So he's gone in and he said, oh, I'm going to win it, and he's blown his account within a few weeks of trading it, which begs you the question, if he claims to be the best trader in the world like he says he is, why has he blown up the account and basically that's his tournament over? What I want to go into now is on the charts, some of his concepts, and I'm more going to have a discussion with you and look from both sides of the picture. Do his concepts work? Do his concepts not work? A lot of full-time traders use his concepts. However, like me, they think that he's just an influencer. He makes majority of his money selling courses, and whilst what he teaches is useful, the actual concepts have not stemmed from him, which is a lot of people think they have. They've stemmed from traders before in the past who have written books, and a good one to look at is Wyckoff. He's a trader, and I'll write it down here for you, and you can have a look at some of his teachings, because you'll see, if you are familiar with ICT's trading, you'll see quite a lot of patterns that are very similar. So one of his main teachings that he talks about are fair value gaps, where he says price runs for liquidity and then it displaces higher, leaving behind a gap that is to be mitigated, and then he says, it will follow in the trend. And I'd like to show you just how many times this is completely wrong. We have liquidity swept here, there's plenty of gaps here. You can see that the first gap that is filled is this gap here, and whilst price supports it, we see that we fail to make a new high and come down to our stop loss. And likewise, we want to look again, and you can see here we have liquidity swept from that low and also this low here. As we push down, we have a displacement higher. You can see the reaction off of this gap looks immense. A lot of people would go long from here, and look, you are straight in drawdown, straight into your stop loss. So it begs the question, do the concepts work? If you were to mark out every single gap, look, that's come down, it's closed outside of the gap, we've come back and then we've gone down, that hasn't helped displace us higher. Once again, price comes down into and then breaks straight through them. So are they actually a useful tool to use or not? And my answer to that question is, if you use them in the correct circumstances with added confluence, then yes. However, if you trade them blindly, then no. So what do I mean by that? Is ensuring that you have a higher time frame bias. If we were to look, we look on the daily chart, you can see we have a fair value gap that's formed here, and you can see how we've come up into it and then displaced lower. That is exactly what you would expect to happen, as he says on the YouTube videos. Now we drop down onto the 1 hour chart, we can see the whole pattern of what's gone on here. So this is our long-term target of this low, where price has moved up and then it's moved down. Now if we want to try and trade this, what's the way that we can do this? So obviously we can see that price taps into this fair value gap, sweeping Monday's high, and all we want to wait for now is a change in state delivery. And as you can see here from this candle, we close below at this order block that should help support price higher, where a lot of people will be setting their buy limits from, right? Because they think, okay, price is going higher. If we were to use this order block, which is again an ICT concept, concept. And as you can see, people would enter into the order block here, pushes up higher, and then it just collapses, right? You know, you've got to look at it from different perspectives and ensure that whilst on the lower time frame we look bullish, actually on the higher time frame we're looking to come down and be bearish. And you can see we have our change in state delivery here, and if we were to set a limit on this line and set our stop loss at the high, you can see that we're achieving a 1 to 4.8 here, and that's just using ICT concepts. So that there has provided us with a win. However, this is not always the case, and you also have to look at, okay, whilst that did work, look, our first displacement that we have, our first gap that we form, we actually come up and take out the high of that gap before we push down lower. Now, a lot of people who are following ICT's trades or trying to trade like him would be taking a trade such as this, and as you can see, they would be stopped out. So whilst in some hindsight cases trades like this one plays out, a lot of other ones such as this fair value gap here does not also play out itself. So you do have to pick and choose and decide, okay, is ICT's concepts viable to trade? My answer to that is yes. Do they always work? No. And is ICT himself actually a trader, or is he just a celebrity who sells courses? For you to decide and you to look into. The fact that he's constantly pushing out content and pushing out mentorships begs the question of, if he was as good a trader as he says he was, would he not just trade full time for a living and not need to sell mentorships? And you know, one other thing I'd mention is his performance in the Robbins Cup was far from expected from a trader of his caliber that he claims. So those are all a few points that I would definitely consider when making a decision, and it's up to you to go into your charts and figure out whether you want to use his concepts or not. A lot of the time as well, his concepts are just basic support and resistance, and that's what a lot of people fail to understand. Now let me show you that here, because this will be a big surprise for you, and it is very, very easy to use. So as you can see, last time price came up into this area here, we rejected down from it. So this would be an area of resistance, but then look, we break through that area of resistance, come back in, it acts as support, and we push higher. Now what happens when we are in, as you can see, this was an area of resistance last time where we were rejected down from before we pushed up through. Look what happens, we close down below that resistance, back into this level here, support pushes us back into this level, and then we go down, and the support level is broken, we tap back into it, and then we continue down to our area down here, which was our last area of support. So, you know, is this ICT's concepts, or is this just basic trading terminology and price action that people can learn the markets in their own view and look at in their own minds? So that's what I'm going to leave you with. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please make sure to check out Surge. We have a bunch of traders in there who are utilizing their own concepts, who are profitable full time, that you can take signals from, generate yourself thousands of pounds every month through the use of funded accounts and personal accounts, just by taking signals day in, day out. Thank you very much.